Scott, what do you take out of that?
Take out of it, I thought early we're certainly up for the fight. We were disappointed with our start last week with the Giants, and it was certainly a focus. Then as the first half wore on, they started to get on top. They had quite a few inside 50s that were starting to get lopsided, and we probably didn't defend as well as we would have liked late in the first half. And disappointing, we lost 2 goals. Those 2 late goals in the second, there was a bit of belief. I thought the players, that might have just drained them a little bit. And third quarter was just an avalanche. That was hard to stop. We, 6-0 at centre bounce. It's pretty hard to resurrect that at times with the new rules, the 6-6-6. We lost contest inside, and we lost contest behind the ball, and we just couldn't get ball in hand for that period of time. We're trying to help the boys out there a little bit, but to give some support to get the extra number, and maybe just try and control the game a little bit to slow it down. But to Carlton's credit, that was some pretty hard football to stop.
Did you take much out of the last quarter, outscoring them?
Oh, the last quarter, look, we know we're a reasonably fit team, even though usually with younger teams you do drop away late in games, but they have got a fair bit of ticker. They want to keep going, the lads. You do take something out of it because you know that they're always going to fight to the end. Unfortunately, we didn't bring that fight in the third quarter, and that really cost us, which is disappointing for them. They're really flat, the lads. They worked so hard this week to try and turn that around, but unfortunately we just completely outplayed and didn't have a response to it.
Do you feel like the last couple of weeks has been a bit of a reminder that in a rebuild, progression just isn't always linear?
Oh, we're fully aware of that. There's going to be little ups and downs all the time. We know at our best we can play some pretty good football, and it's just disappointing after probably a month of good footy, but especially those last few games that we won against the Doggies in Richmond. But that's 3 and 4 weeks ago as well. We're not going to dwell on that too much. Just disappointing with 2 teams the last 2 weeks that we've probably dropped away in a little bit of contest, and just the ability to defend to get back onto the opponents quick enough to make it hard for them so they can't be clean. And mind you, today when you look at your question about the rebuild, if you look at Schoenberg, Berry and Haitley, those boys inside against that Carlton group were there probably 2 to 3 years ago with that same youthfulness, and there's a bit of difference once you do 5 or 6 pre-seasons to doing 1, 2 or 3. So it was hard for him, and Lairdy was he was crook all week. He courageous just to get up and play today, so he battled as hard as he possibly could. But I think just the numbers that they can get through there, and then that spring that they get off their half back line as well, that we just couldn't control.
It's obviously a pretty strong midfield group you were coming up against as well, and obviously left out Matt Crouch. What did you want to see from him in the reserves this week? I know he had a pretty big game in the Sandful yesterday. What sort of response did you want to see from him, and did you feel you've got that?
Well, I didn't see the game completely. Obviously, we're in the middle of travelling. Nixie's the one that's had the major conversations with Crouchy, but pleasing that the boys that have gone back have always played well when they've gone back to the SNFL. And look, I know Crouchy's a terrific player. He's been a best and fairest winner. He's been an All-Australian, so we want him to go back there and play good footy and hopefully get back up into the senior side at some stage.
You got an update on Murphy?
No, I'm not all over it. Just the doc's come at 3/4 time, so and he's pretty sore. I think he should be subbed out. That was about it.
Is there a bit of concern there, given his history?
There is, to an extent, but like I said, I'm not all over it too. So I'll find out a little bit more. We've obviously come here pretty quick from post talking to the boys.
Was Matty on the phone throughout the game, or did he, hand over to you to run the ship today, basically?
Yeah, he handed over a fair bit not to me, but to all of us, all the other assistants as well. There's a few text messages, but it was, what he was seeing, we were seeing. He was just trying to stop that flow at times. Obviously, I said earlier we couldn't, and it's just it's interesting though when we actually did start to use the ball a little bit offensively too and change angles. We actually found a way to score. The only thing was we were resurrecting it from our back line just too much. We just didn't play the game in our front half, and even in the defensive mid area, we would have liked a few more turnovers in that part of the ground to give us a bit more room to go back at Carlton. But half of our turnovers, I think, were in our D50 area or our intercepts that we won back. So it just makes it too hard.
Yeah.
Going around with Cripps for quite a while. What did you make of that?
Yeah. Look, Cripps was obviously outstanding as the game went on. But up to probably about halfway through the third, I didn't think Cripps had been dominant, and then he just turned it on for a period where, you're talking about a Brownlow favourite. You go back to all the historically the best players in the competition. There's been so many players that have tried to tag and stop that it's hard to. But yeah, it was a great opportunity for Jacko to get in there, and we had a team focus as well on him at particular times, especially around stoppages. When he gets that momentum up with that size and that build, you're just trying to reduce his effect, but he could still get out and get his hands free and bring others into the game. Having said that, though, I thought Jacko tried as hard as he possibly could, and it is a collective. It's not just that one battle. It's about the other mids, it's the wingers, the half-backs. Did they support as much in those areas by coming off to close space down for Cripps or their mids to work into? We probably didn't do that as well as what we have in the past.